Let's talk about the moment you got the thing, the promotion, the platform, the influence, the title, the break. Maybe you celebrated, maybe you were relieved, maybe you were even surprised. And then, after the confetti settled, you likely asked yourself the most natural question in the world. What does this mean for me? How will this improve my life, my security, my reputation, my comfort? This is the grammar of personal ambition. It's not wrong, it's just small. What if the question you should be asking in this new position isn't, what does this mean for me, but what does this mean for them? Who is them? The people your new influence touches, the community your platform can reach, the problem your unique voice can now address. I want to transport you to a palace corridor in ancient Persia, where a young woman is about to have her entire understanding of privilege turned upside down by one terrifying, electrifying question. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Meet Esther, orphaned, exiled, a minority in a vast empire. And through a series of events both brutal and bizarre, a year-long beauty pageant, essentially she finds herself crowned Queen of Persia. From the outside, it's the ultimate rags-to-riches story. She's wearing the crown, she lives in the palace, she has security, status, luxury, she has made it. And for 5 years, she lives in this bubble of royal privilege. Her primary concern? Navigating palace politics, staying in the king's favor, preserving her hard-won safety. She has learned to wear her success like a costume, beautiful, impressive, but also a disguise. To survive, she has hidden the most important parts of herself, her name, her Jewish name, Hadassah, her people, her story. This is the first seduction of success, the illusion of arrival. You think you've reached the destination, the goal, the top. You believe you can finally relax, enjoy the view, and focus on your own comfort. But what if the palace isn't the reward? What if the palace is the assignment? Esther wasn't in the palace in spite of her story. She was in the palace because of her story. Your background, the very things you think you need to hide or apologize for, your struggles, your ethnicity, your past failures, your unconventional journey, are not stains on your resume. They are the specific security clearance for your assignment. Enter the crisis. Haman, the king's right-hand man, fueled by pretty hatred, manipulates the law. He persuades the king to sign an irreversible edict. On a single day, every Jewish man, woman, and child in the empire is to be annihilated, their property plundered. The news hits the Jewish community like a physical blow. And here is the fascinating detail. The decree is public, posted in every province. The news filters into the palace, but Esther, in her insulated luxury, doesn't know. She is the last to find out. Her cousin Mordecai, who raised her, stands at the king's gate in sackcloth and ashes, wailing. He sends her a copy of the edict. Esther's first response is pure human panic. She sends Mordecai new clothes. Take off the sackcloth. You are causing a sin. You will draw attention. It's the response of someone who sees their position as a perch to be protected, not a post to be used. Mordecai's reply is a thunderbolt. It contains the verse we know, but let's hear the full context. He says, "Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish." Do you hear the two revolutionary truths? First, your privilege is not protection. The crisis will reach your gated community. The disease will enter your sterile palace. The broken system will eventually break your corner of it. You are not safe. You are strategically placed. Second, the mission is non-negotiable. Deliverance will come. God's purpose will be achieved. The only question is, will it come through you, or will you be bypassed and become a tragic footnote? And then, the question that has echoed through centuries and into this video right now. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Let's dissect this divine interrogation. Who knows? This is not a statement of vague possibility. It is a call to faith-filled action. It is an invitation to bet your comfort, your safety, your entire position on the belief that your life is not a random accident. You have come. This implies movement, purpose, a journey with intentionality. You didn't stumble here. You didn't lock here. You were brought. Your path, with all its twists, pains, and unexpected turns, was a delivery route to your royal position. Not just a position, your position. With your specific skills, your exact network, your unique voice, your personal story, the seat you are in fits the contours of your life. For such a time as this, not for a generic time, but this time, this cultural moment, this crisis in your company, this need in your family, this fracture in your community, this chronos, the ticking clock time, meeting kairos, the divine opportuned moment. Esther's answer is the model for ours. She doesn't immediately run to the king. She calls for a fast. She prepares. She calculates the risk. I will go to the king even though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish. She moves from seeing her position as a crown to be worn to seeing it as a key to be used. From a privilege to be enjoyed to a post to be manned. From a destiny to rest in to a dispatch point to act from. Your royal position might be the managerial role you just earned, the social media following you built, the financial stability you finally achieved, the hard-won education you possess, the platform of your parenthood, the credibility in your community. It is not your trophy. It is your tactical advantage. So, what is the protocol? When you feel the weight of Mordecai's question in your spirit, first, acknowledge the crisis at the gate. Stop insulating yourself. Look up from your desk. What is the sackcloth and ashes news in your world? The injustice in your industry, the need in your neighborhood, the silent suffering in your own home. See it. Second, accept that you are the likely hero. Deliverance will come. Will it come through you? Your specific blend of access, story, and voice makes you the most likely candidate for this mission. Not the most qualified, but the most placed. Third, trade your crown for a key. This is the pivot. Ask, how can this position, this influence, this very day be used not for my advancement, but for the advancement of what is right, good, and true? Fourth, move with prepared courage. You may need to fast, to gather allies, to plan, and then you must walk into the throne room of your fear and speak. The outcome is not your responsibility. The obedience is. You are in your palace, right now. You have access someone else doesn't. You carry a story that is a key to a locked door. There is a Haman in the hallway, a Mordecai at your gate. This is not about being great. This is about being available. This is not about building your kingdom. This is about serving the purpose of a kingdom that placed you here on purpose. You were not given that role, that resource, that voice, that break for your comfort. You were given it for such a time as this. So put down the crown, pick up the key, and go be the answer to the question history is whispering about you.
I wore the crown, I learned the game, built my walls, I hid my name. Thought I'd arrived, thought I was safe inside my gilded cage. But there's a wailing at the gate, a cry I cannot underestimate. This privilege I celebrate was never mine to keep. Who knows why I'm standing here tonight? Who knows if I was born to fight for such a time as this? I will not hold my peace, my crown is time. be clear. I still remember my father's hands, calloused and worn, working strange lands. He said, baby, one day you'll understand why the road was hard and long. Now I sleep where the kings have slept, while the people like him have wept. And I've been so good at just forgetting where I came from. For such a time as this, I will not hold my peace. My crown is just the key to set the captives free. For such a time as this, I'll walk into my fear, and if I perish, I perish. My purpose will be clear. And if I perish, I perish. I was made for such a time.